For sure.
Group. It's going to be FaZe, Rogue, or CAG going home. 3 points are on the board right now, and CAG can get all 3 of them. Liquid is off today. It's going to be SSG playing Rogue on the other stream once their match currently concludes. They're right now in the middle of another entertaining show. It's Furia versus Dark Zero on the other stream. If you want to go over and watch, feel free to do that. We like to remind you at the onset of every single matchup that you can go over to twitch.tv/Rainbow6Bravo, and you'll listen to Blue and Stokes casting that DZ versus Furia match. And again, huge implications over there because, spoilers, Elevate defeated TSM on this stream just about half an hour ago. Elevate could finish first in their group.
That's crazy.
And, I mean, what's craziest is that teams didn't want to scrim Elevate. Maybe if you'd scrimmed Elevate, some of you wouldn't be going home so early.
Boy.
So there you have it. Anyway, let's focus on FaZe versus Cyclops because, as I said, there exists a scenario in which Cyclops 2-0s FaZe and Rogue leapfrogs over FaZe, and FaZe Clan, the defending major champions, on Swedish soil where they won their first major just 3 months ago, end up going home. Anything about the band FaZe that looks a little bit odd, Nick?
I mean, there's about 1 out of 4 things that look normal. That's the Valkyrie band. I'm not gonna talk much about that because that is to be expected. But Twitch, there's the second one that's not that crazy out. We see there's a target band. The F2 goes brrr, good Twitch tone, can clear utility, go shows, yada 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 yada. But the Capital taken off the board. That's an LMG with no CAG. They played 3 LMGs against SSG on Chalet. That's 350 bullets in combination between those 3 weapons. And then of course, the Vigil target band comes out. That's going to speak to the Rome game.
What is happening?
I can just hear.
I don't know if you can hear it, by the way, but there is the portal to hell has opened next to us, and Stokes and Blue are fighting for their lives.
They are.
I don't know what's going on over there, but they are screaming something unholy. And it being in close proximity to them, I mean, there's always going to be blow-ups, and we do the same to them.
Yeah.
But it's always funny to be on the other side of it.
It is. We're going through this casual, not in the first round yet, and it's just craziness in my left ear. And yeah, as I was saying, Cyclops, they really target ban FaZe out, the Twitch and the Vigil. This speaks to the roam game for when FaZe gets on the defense, and of course the Twitch affects FaZe on the attack. So, Cyclops, I want to remind you guys, they have lost Chalet yesterday against SSG, but they were up 6-1. And then SSG won 7 rounds in a row and came back and won 8-6. So Cyclops are very well versed in Chalet. They've done really good on it so far this tournament. FaZe will not be underestimating them. At least I don't think they will, because FaZe themselves are a very, very good team and they know how it works.
Even with BIOS, you can't underestimate BDS, who looked like the weakest team at this tournament, playing with their coach for those games. So I don't think any of these teams are taking any of them for granted, Nick, especially APAC. Maybe 2-3 years ago, when a single APAC team would make it out of the groups and then get blown out in the quarterfinals, maybe semifinals if you were Nora Rengo, sure. But for the most part, APAC has grown a ton, and you absolutely cannot count them out, especially when especially when
APAC,
2 of these APAC teams might be finishing first in their groups. Immediate first kills on a Black Ray, but Souls does not allow him to exist that much longer, and suddenly these teams are back into a 4v4. But what was the operator that got picked apart by Black Ray?
Well, Black Ray took the ace off the board, and that is not the only Heartbreacher from the side of FaZe. We do still have Souls on the Maverick, but that's going to limit you a bit here as Cameraman is starting to do work on the library side. Anderton with the 1.5x on the smoke and has a mirror window and a shield on this chimney position. Remember, we are down in bar, but we're going to be extending up above. We want to make sure we have map control if we are Cyclops, because you can't just hide on side, and FaZe Clan will have to break that apart. They're looking for the way in, because right now they haven't gathered much ground. We have one guy out on the balcony on office and Cameraman on the library balcony as well. Bullet in the dining hallway. And the last player is Souls on that fireplace door. So we're kind of scattered around waiting for CAG to make the first move, if anything.
And they had the smoke of Aniton playing at the top of Chimney under a drone. I don't know if the smoke is still up there or whether they've seen it or not. Cyber took a lot of damage, and now Souls has dropped, and he's taken a ton of damage too. Ask just about anybody, and Souls is one of the best support players in the world right now. Not just in terms of decision-making, but his ability to do damage on the map. And he's not going to be able to do all that much, taken out by a Nitro Cell of Viagator. Real no fight back. Suzu downing Cameraman, and then the kill as well leaves Cyber and Bullet in these positions. Cyber, cool as a cucumber, but he's dead now. And as well, Bullet will join him. All right, just like that. Cyclops taking 1-to-1-to-1 engagements, and I guess the question about whether the smoke was still being watched on drone up by Chimney doesn't matter, because even if they had intel on him, there's nothing they could do to get him off of the spot. Cyclops takes round number 1.
Yep, that's the scary thing about the likes of Cyclops, and we saw that in the Elevate TSM game as well. They are so strong in those 1v1 gunfights. The only kill that FaZe managed to find was Souls that traded back that opening kill that BlackRay had found onto the one player of FaZe, and that's not going to be enough. And you mentioned how a lot of people, they give a lot of praise to Mr. Souls himself. I think the comparison between him and Brede from BDS has been made so many times, and it's almost disrespectful to make the comparison now, because I think they're two very distinct players. The only comparison I would make is that they're both extremely strong in that supportive role. They're both so capable of pulling out kills and clutches and having a massive impact on the round outside of just droning and making good callouts. But I would say Souls, very much an individual. Respect the name in its own entirety. Brede, same exact story. But yes, feel free to make the comparison as long as you do that. With that being said, Aniton, he has his own niche pick on the board now in the Capcan. This is another thing that CAG did against SSG yesterday, and it actually carried them for a round. What ended up happening was SSG took so long walking through the map, clearing out the roam game, and when they had to get to the bomb site with 30 seconds left, well, they ran into Capcan traps, and it didn't end well for them. So okay, let's keep an eye on that timer as it ticks down. FaZe Clan are working against the clock more so than they typically would because the trap operators are out. BlackRay with that Melusic gadget as well. It's going to slow you down even further once you progress the map, and that is not what you want to happen. Meanwhile, Cameraman, now same position as before, going to be outside of Master Balcony first. Wants to make sure that no runouts here happens from the garage. Actually, there's no balcony anymore. That's like the old Chalet, but there's a window to Solarium. All the same.
2 windows to Solarium.
2 windows to Solarium. 2 single windows.
2 single windows.
Used to be a balcony.
It's almost Valentine's Day, by the way.
Oh, wow.
So the windows as single as some of you viewers. I digress.
Oh, that's rude.
Oh, BlackRay gets jumped in on. We talked about how good of a support he can be, but on the score sheet, he's mighty fine. Souls and Cyber, the 2 first opening picks for FaZe Clan, they come quite quickly. An answer back from Gadarada. Cyclops finding at least 1. That's onto the Yana of Bullet. No real impact from the Yana at all. It's on the Ace now, trying to track down Gadarada. There's the rotate. They'll walk around the doorway. Nitro Cell gets blown up by that nade, and now bullets raining over the head of Gadarada, who pops back up. Cyber taking damage. There's the Maestro of Suzu creeping up these stairs. Thinks there's somebody on the window. Cyber's been down now. Gadarada with a shotgun in hand, he secures, but he doesn't find Souls, where the diffuser is down inside of Jacuzzi as well, or rather in bathroom by the Jacuzzi. Selma's going off to take out the hatches. Diffuser will need to be picked back up. FaZe in a 3v2 with half the round to go. An early burst of action characterized this round thus far, but now a stalemate as the teams recoup. FaZe Clan grabs the diffuser and figures out what to do before pulling off an execute in roughly a minute.
Yeah, and there we see Aniton's Capgunters doing work. They found the injury and did the damage, and the kill got picked up as well. Traded back though by FaZe, who's been extremely quick throughout this round. They basically stormed through library, made their way through the map. We had Cameraman on that Solarium rappel, and now all of top floor has been granted to them. But what happened was Cyber on the sleds has been taken out. That leaves the only verticality are the breaching charges from the Ace, but he's off the board as well as Ayagata gets a nice angle onto him. Suzu with the Alda and Ayagata with the 1.5x, a mighty duo in this 2v2, and both players from FaZe will come from Solarium.
The fact that the Evil Eye cams are up will pay a huge part in the remainder of this round. And also the Capcan traps, letting them know that if these players from FaZe do not look down, they're going to funnel in through areas where they'll take a substantial amount of damage. A potential fatal blow as well, depending on how many of those or EDDs are on the doorway. Down goes Cameron, secured by Alligator, and now he'll engage with both an Evil Eye as well as that same alibi. And Alligator walks away, dancing around the deployable shield with another round for CAG, starting off their own choice of Chalet up 2-0.
It's actually funny because both players from FaZe were inside a trophy, and you got a door on your left and a door on your right. They droned the door on the left, they actually pinged the Capcan trap on the door frame, and they said, you know what, that's too much trouble. We're gonna go to the right side instead, and ran into a different Capcan trap instead, got injured. Ayagata finished off the kill with that injury as well, and that just leaves you in a 1 versus 2. So yeah, the Capcan traps really playing a big factor, mostly due to the timer being so low from FaZe. They couldn't take their time checking the doorways, but also you had those angled opened up on the soft wall from Cyclops, leaving angles all the way from dining and kitchen in towards trophy area. So if you were to check the door, you cannot check for the fight. If you don't check for the fight and it happens, well, you're likely to lose out on the round regardless. Basement, as we are now working our way through the bomb sites, went from bar to kitchen and down below where we are currently. And there is 1 wall down on the board, 2 wall down on the board from the side of CAG. They got the Kaid on Gatorada and Ayagator with the mute as well. So we can make sure that these walls will be difficult to breach from the side of FaZe. Now, Souls has been bringing the Maverick every single round. That's important because one of the key ways to get in through those wall deny gadgets is the Maverick torch that can make a hole or make them soft. Then you got Astro on the ace, but you can't do much work with the gadget until you cleared off the walls first. And that's also where the grenades are very handy. What do you know? FaZe, they have 6 of them. This is something that we see almost every single round these days. At least 4 grenades and sometimes all the way up to 8 in a single round.
Wow, this is definitely the nade meta, that is for certain. It is not just the fact that we have more operators that are in the meta with grenades than usual, but also the fact that these yellow pings empower the nades so effectively. And even though it is not a new addition to the game, I feel like more teams are starting to get the hang of how to use those pings to their advantage. And instead of focusing on comms, they've put their interests and efforts elsewhere.
Yeah, good drone work really goes a long way with the yellow ping addition. Now, yeah, droning gets you information, but it gets you a pixel perfect accuracy for where to throw grenades or where to go for a wall bang or a floor bang. And that's kind of the change that we've been seeing, because you can try and explain there's a guy next to a dining table. Oh, well, anything just found a counter bullet. That's unfortunate. That's the end of the board. Gone 6 and nades are now out of the equation. But yeah, trying to explain where Cyber is. He's somewhere near the fireplace double door, but outside, not inside, and good luck C4ing that. Yellow ping makes it a lot easier.
Bullet has been an early death in every single round thus far. Aniton now gets some repayment from Cameraman, paying for his crimes.
Crimes plural, huh?
Yeah, multiple crimes, because Aniton has been involved in those early picks as well. Like we said, Bullet on the wrong side of the equation, Aniton usually on the right side of it. That's another alibi clone. Decoy set down below to distract by Kitchen. After FaZe clear out this top floor, it'll be a quick journey to the main floor and then down into the basement. They've got the stairs controls they need, but they'll run headfirst into Ayagator. He's got the shotgun out, the mute waiting, and a flashbang will move him from his spot. He still gets hit with it, still blinded, but can re-engage now as it's come to be. But Cameraman swings a beautiful shot and no damage is done whatsoever. Cyclops losing control of blue, and FaZe can march forward. 1 second left, or 1 minute left.
Yeah, now we're almost down on side to us. Astro walks through blue and Souls walks down the main stairs. Nate comes out and he strikes true, but a trade comes out from Susu, but traded straight back from Astro himself. And now, that's it. He finds 2 to end up the round, and FaZe once again are walking through the map, walking through the side, finding every single kill. And with that grenade that opened up the possibility, beautifully done from them.
Eventually, the early picks going in favor of FaZe are going to cost CAG, but not that round, because because it's CAG who gets pick number 1 upstairs in library. And, well, I have to wonder exactly what happened through that mid-round. Were there just simply too many players from CAG who weren't on the bomb site? Because if you think about it, you're a sitting duck once that garage wall gets opened up. And it looked like it got opened up very early on by FaZe. So then you as a defender get restless because you can't play inside of garage or else you're going to get pushed from that opening. So where do you go? You can go up top, you can play in lobby, you can play in bar, you can try to retake library upstairs. There's a lot of avenues.
There is, and this is exactly why opening up a door or a window, because, need I remind you, every window and every door is barricaded when the round begins. When you open up a window or a door, it can only get re-barricaded if a defender walks up there physically, holds the F key for 3 seconds, or if you go to the next round. So by opening up all these windows and all these doors, or even the reinforced walls, it creates an uneasy feeling for defenders. Where is the safe position? Where is the enemy? Is this window safe? Is there a guy outside the door? You never know. The Valkyrie is banned, you have no information outside the map, and you have very limited information inside the map. It's that same reason why the default cameras that are in the map are so important for attackers to kill, because that means that you don't know where the attackers are. As a defender, you keep second guessing the possibilities of an enemy and their whereabouts, and you don't really know what ground you have unless you're physically present in that specific room. And it's why you see the likes of Blackray always roaming inside of dining and kitchen. That means that CAG knows that that small area of the map is theirs. Same thing with Anaton here on Chimney. So you can kind of start mapping out, well, what is our area on the map and what's the enemy's area of the map. And remember, the attackers always have the outside of the building in their favor because, well, it's where they spawn, and if defenders are outside, you'll get spotted after a couple of seconds.
Runouts are plenty, by the way, and they do happen. A lot of these APAC teams play hyper aggro and can go for jump outs. It used to be a telltale sign of Brazil as well, and a simplistic take would lead you to believe that it is still the same. Nitro Cell goes out now as we are 1 minute into live action. That's a heavy defense from CAG up above. As I say that, Gatorada drops down, and it looks like Library's actually opened up, but not before. A Nitro Cell gets out from Gator, and Souls is as good as gone. Cameraman also on a shred of HP, so 2 players from FaZe either dead or walking significantly wounded.
Yeah, and Souls actually is a part of almost every single opening kill or death so far. Oh, that ADS Anaton just saved your life because that nail was between your feet, between your legs, and that would have taken you out with a guarantee. Thankfully, though, Jaeger, Suzu saved his teammate. What do you know? ADS are really important, but so is swinging at the right moment. And that is Anaton, who gets one, but also loses the second.
He gets a little bit too cocky, but you know that the ace is going to keep walking up, and at some point you're going to have to swing. A miscalculation from the smoke. And dying a little bit early is not where you want to be, not if you, especially if you have those toxic canisters still in your pocket. And I don't think Anaton had expended all 3 of them, at least not from what I saw. So Adrenal Surge kicks in. It gives a lot more HP to Cameraman, who is close to death, and there's 1 remaining 4 bullet. This is a permanent health increase that you get every single time it comes in. FaZe Clan trail in numbers, and with the objective being in their hands, that's tough because it will essentially be a 2v4. When the diffuser starts to go down, if CAG read into it, they can collapse on the 2 last players of FaZe Clan and potentially overwhelm them.
Yeah, but same issue as the previous 2 rounds. There is no sledge on the board, limited verticality, and Black Rains out of dining might just pay off, but no, it's actually Bullet that finds the kill with that LMG and Adrenal Surge. There are none remaining. No more help to be had, but Black Ray, he finds one to Bullet. 3 versus 2 now in favor of CAG. They have so much map control because FaZe hasn't dealt with the roam, and Cameraman, you're all walking, but you're also limping because you're so low on health. Dropping this hatch is not gonna pay out because there's gonna be 2 players watching it there. Oh, actually,
he lands the shot, but
he does land an incredible shot.
You're absolutely correct. There's going to be 2 players watching, so it looks impressive, technically impressive, as he drops and kills
Trick
one
shot.
of them. But guess what? When there's 2, unless you're going to do a sweet 180 no scope, bro.
FaZe Clan, baby. Whoa!
There you go. It is quite literally FaZe Clan, so it
is.
applies perfectly here. But Cameraman not obviously cut from that cloth. spirited effort. A lot of this, once again, came down to FaZe Clan not being able to clear Chimney early. We saw on the last attempt that FaZe went onto this bomb site back in round number 1, CAG posted the smoke up by Chimney, and nobody could shake him from that spot. You have the 1.5 on a gun with relatively low recoil, a good rate of fire, and the thing is that when you look at the FMG, it gets overshadowed by the shotgun because oftentimes you need that extra level of destruction, and the shotgun is really good at close range, and that's the way you're going to play most smokes. But when Mute got the shotgun added, it freed up Smoke to play a little bit more liberally, maybe spread out over the map, and start running that FMG. The setup that we saw from CAG above is to invest in those ADSs, the one that saved the Smoke's life, as you pointed out, but also a mirror window on that chimney wall, looking into library so the Smoke can play it, and if anybody pushes them from inside a lobby, you've still got a cam up. You've got ADSs to keep you safe, and you have an ability to swing onto library as well. It's a very smart setup from CAG. It's not that unique, we've seen it before, but FaZe Clan have had trouble dealing with it for 2 rounds, and it means that Cyclops cannot go back to that same bar gaming bomb site as they've been successful both times. It'll be locked for the remainder of the first half.
That's also the beauty of Alibi. You spoke about the shotguns, where if you got the Mute with shotgun, well then Smoke can play FMG. Alibi does have that Bailiff secondary pistol, but Alibi won't be in this round because that's the opening kill from Astro. That is an unfortunate death, basically sitting on the window, trying to get cheeky. There was a Prisma as well, but the real one is the one to fall. No Bailiff on the board, but you do have the shotgun secondary, or the Frost secondary shotgun on hand as well from Anitun, so plenty of destruction will be available. Gatorada himself plays the MP5K, no shotgun in hand, because CAG, they want as many weapons as possible, and they want them to be as well equipped for fights as they can. Now 1.5x on defense really gives you a ton of that value, because normally on defense you only have the 1.0x scope available to most of your weaponry. So boding well for CAG, but with a man down it's going to be a little bit tougher. FaZe Clan, they've lost a vertical player almost every single round, but this is the exception. Cyber is still alive with the Diffuser in hand, but Bullet is the one to get one opening kill as well to follow it up, and then checks back, and Cypher, he says, I'll get one as well.
Anitun gets a big pick to try and keep the numbers close, but FaZe just double up on him upstairs, and like that, it's reduced the numbers that CAG have to just 2. But keep in mind, it was Suzu on the Maestro who helped keep this bomb site for CAG the last time they went here. Yep. It could possibly happen again, but the odds are very much not in their favor. FaZe Clan have 2 more players than they did before, and all of them are at full HP. Well, I might have spoken too soon, by the way, because the 2 remaining players just did a substantial amount of damage, narrowing it down to a 2v2. But Suzu's been boxed out of the bomb site, and despite shredding through a lot of Super Astro's HP, he didn't get the kill. The diffuser is upstairs, so Cameraman will be the one tasked with retrieving this. 1 minute to go. You could do some damage to the ace of Astro by tasing away. Black Ray underneath the bomb site now. He's threading himself through the basement, and he can come up through West Main. If FaZe is not prepared for this, if FaZe do not have air jabs in this particular area, then they might be in trouble. Cameraman drops, he and Astro are side by side. They're gonna zone out the Maestro, so it'll all come onto the shoulders of Black Ray, who now gets the spam pings. Walking back up, he tosses out an impact grenade. They know where he is, but he's not able to sheath it before Cameraman can get the kill. So instead, it's the Alda to burn through. But there's a double reinforced wall in front of Suzu, and his job of getting back to the bomb site is near impossible. He knows where they are, damaged on Astro, but you do not peek Astro around a door frame. You'll get punished every single time. The deployable shield goes, so it was a smart play with that impact. But Black Ray, being a little bit too eager with those impact grenades, might have cost himself an opportunity on the flank to get a kill that could have set his team up better for success. FaZe Clan take the round, and we go into the very final round of the first half.
Yeah, it seemed like CAG had info on the planter of FaZe, but FaZe equally had a drone inside of West Main that knew that there was a flank coming from that basement staircase. And the impact, it was a good decision to begin off with. You couldn't really see the player, but the impact could do some damage to open up the wall. But then he got off the plant, he swung you. When you had that second impact in your hand, well, you can't really shoot back, so therefore you die. And that leaves CAG in a 1 versus 2. I would argue that Suzu could have pushed up and tried to play the 2 versus 2 more together. Try and see if there was a respawn from Astro. Perhaps he was going to look away and try and assist his teammate, but it all happened what happened. It's a 1 versus 1 2 times in a row going in favor of FaZe, and Astro himself being really hot right now, both finding the opening pick of the last round as well as that final kill. And it was kind of funny because FaZe Clan, they actually got full side control. Both players were inside of kitchen and dining. Then they realized, oh, we left something extremely important upstairs. I wonder what that could be. Realized that they couldn't press F to plant diffuser, and then they had to go all the way back upstairs, pick it up, walk all the way back downstairs, and start planting. And this is the thing, it's very hard for defenders to know the whereabouts of the diffuser because it's a very small physical object on the ground, and of course, there were no defenders upstairs once those first kills came through. So FaZe Clan themselves didn't even realize where the case was, and that just goes to speak to how difficult it is to track it. And with no Valkyrie being on the board, well, you're not gonna have info up above. Anderton now responds back with that lack of information, and he picks up the Echo. That should help them out. The Maestro, of course, gives you side information, but the Yokais are movable, and therefore you can also assist the roam, you know, check the flanks and also check the side.
And most importantly, if they stay up, knock the attacker out of the diffuse plant animation. So there have been lots of teams that have had a very good strategic idea of how to take a bomb site, but they haven't accounted for one sneaky little drone boy that can pop up to the ceiling and stop your plant in its tracks. Early action now as Astro's HP has been reduced by about a third. He's got Gatorada, the one that did some of that damage. That's about it though. No real re-engagement from CAG. This is their fourth bomb site, by the way, and FaZe are just going to bulldoze right in. Anderton gets 2, though, and tries to keep it close. He gets knocked away. They know now he's at Insolarium. He's got Gatorado with him. Plant going down from Astro in hand. Souls and Bullet to cover. There's a Yokai up. They have intel. They'll knock him out of it. But Anderton has to jiggle peek his way on in. He doesn't know what line of sight FaZe has. Trying to bait out a shot or two. Can't do it. Impact grenade goes off. Gatorada doesn't see the body. That buys more time for Anderton as Astro gets the diffuser off. Now, that puts us into a post-plant with FaZe Clan in a 3v2. Still holding on. They'll use Selmas to open up the bomb site. This gives less coverage to CAG. Bullet tucked in the corner. He guns down Gatorada. He had a slow start, but Bullet now has 4 kills to his name. Anderton in a 1v3. He drops, they'll hear the sound of it, and he doesn't have a single chance. There's just simply too many areas that he can't look at the same time. First half in the books, and it's FaZe 3, CAG 3.
Yeah, an even split before the swap, but honestly, the aggression that FaZe is showing right now and how well it's working is honestly extremely surprising. They didn't even use a single one of those Selma charges on the ace because once they started planting, at a minute and 50 left, need I remind you, a minute and 50 left is when the plant started going down, and then they got denied by the Yokai and you start again. That is absolutely ridiculous. One of the faster plants that I've seen so far at Invite, and afterwards he 180'd, opened up the wall to fireplace for an escape, and well, that just speaks. They didn't even use any utility. It's just pure gunplay, jumping in a window, finding picks, trading off each other, and playing off that man advantage, which they've been able to get the last 2 rounds in a row. So, how that side went, we had CAG picking up the first 2 rounds, and FaZe got 1, CAG got their 3rd, then the last remaining 2 rounds went in favor of FaZe back-to-back. That is a 3-3 side swap that we see right now. Now with FaZe in defense, no Vigil available to them. That was target banned by Cyclops, and the other way around, Cyclops on the attack with no Capital available as it was banned out by FaZe. Very, very clear target bans from both sides because they've been used in the past, and we know how effective FaZe are with the Vigil roaming.
I do like the target bans.
Nice.
So you'll see, you'll see what changes FaZe make. Amazi comes out, and teams have been favoring the Commando a lot over the Roni. I didn't see what first weapon, the primary that Cyber is running. We'll wait.
It's gotta be the Roni.
Oh, he's got the pistol out, now he's on cams, for God's sake.
And show us the weapon, show us the money. What skin does he have? That's what I want to know, honestly. And the weapon kind of defines that because there are some pilot program skins, and one of those, actually, nowadays you have both. Because CAG themselves, I believe, they have the weapon skin for the Roni. That's quite nice looking. TSM has it on the Commando. I believe there's 20% off on those Rainbow Six Pilot Program skins. So if you guys are in the game, open up the esports tab, pick up a skin from your favorite team, or all of them by any means. I won't judge. That's what I would do.
There's a Roni skin for Na'Vi. There's a Roni skin for CAG, and Cyber's running the Na'Vi one. Maybe a nod to a former champ as well, as Na'Vi won the Tokonami finals. Cyber taking, again, a lot of damage off the initial bit of contact, but just as before, he is not dead, he still exists. This is a kitchen defense on that first floor, the very first for FaZe Clan. Given the fact that Chalet was picked by CAG, FaZe going 3 for 3 on the first half is quite fine, I will say. And Chalet is at an interesting ebb and flow, where at one point it was an exceptionally attacker-favored map, and then teams stopped playing Garage downstairs, which at one point I think it had a 30% win rate for the defense, which was tremendously low. It had one of the worst win rates for a single bomb site in comp play. But after that, teams have now started going with a different rotation. Even if we are seeing more Garage defenses as of late, the win rate for the defenders on Chalet has peaked back up.
And we see a much slower pace CAG in that comparison of FaZe, because they're actually most of them outside the building. Gatorada haven't even left spawn. He's still making his way. You got Ayagator onside that library balcony. He's just holding still, watching for angles, and yeah, where are we going, CAG? Have you changed your mind? Have you changed the strat mid-ray? Well, it seems to be a Solarium take, but with all these walls being open in front of you, that's going to be difficult. You got multiple FaZe members on that side. Most of them, yes, they've gone back to kitchen. Cyber's the lone player up top. That means the ground is free for your taking, but time is also slipping away. You got the sledge on the board, you got Sophia, you can do verticality, but without a shadow of doubt.
No.
Walk down the staircase off the side.
He's on a drone through the window. Cyber could have very easily been shot. You do not go onto drone when you were standing next to the window. A single bullet could have taken him out of action. 30 seconds to go and the whole server is still alive, but because of Black Ray, no they're not. Cameraman punished first, traded back. CAG's guns hitting their marks. They walk away with 2-1 for FaZe Clan. That burns 10 seconds off of the clock. Suzu delivering the payload down below with the diffuser. Astra hugging the wall. So wherever Suzu goes, you need to be wary of the rats that are lying in the corners, because those are indeed rat plays, as the analysts talked about before. Another from Black Ray, and they'll trade back and forth. And Black Ray with an ace. Incredible stuff. We don't see many of those. But when they're all going back and forth, it's Black Ray time and time again to get every single kill.
That might just be me, but that was like the most random ace ever, right? It was like a 1-for-1, but Black Ray somehow was the sole player to pick up every single kill that round. I thought
major implications for the groups, because while Space Station have qualified and will not be eliminated, FaZe, Rogue, and Cyclops are all in a position where one of them will go home today. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. This is the last group where we don't know who's getting eliminated.
Makes it quite exciting. And Parker, we actually had our debut here on the beach stream, so I do very much agree. It is not supplementary. It is very much like an even, equal, individual stream. And then you have top-tier casters, top-tier analysts covering the same thing as we do here on the A stream, where we have been now 2 days in a row. Back in the game we go. We are now in the basement. That is FaZe Clan on the defense, Cyclops up on the attack. And if you guys just tuned in or somehow forgot what happened, we just saw a kitchen attack from Cyclops, where Black Ray himself found an ace. Something that we don't see very often. He's at 9 kills himself. And we saw Ayagator. He's 6-picked from the Monty onto the line. So the Monty will not be in play. That'll be Anyton if anybody who were to play it. Meanwhile, for the basement, I wouldn't say Monty is the greatest operator anyhow, but it can be quite alright in the right hands, and Anyton is very well suited for that. Suzu bringing out the floors, that's going to have great value this round once you start progressing on that utility. But for now, you need to start thinking about, well, what about the roam clear? Are you going to go and challenge FaZe up above? Are you going to just go straight down below and see what you can find? Your money's worth. You only have a single hard breach off the Maverick. That's the Anyton on the board. 2 nades in his pocket, but no other hard breach available. No can openers, nothing of the kind. And that means limited breachability from the side of Cyclops. Surely they'll have to play around finding openings and finding picks, because 5v5 in a basement attack is going to be extremely difficult. We'll see once they progress. We have 2 guys trophy window. They've jumped in, but there's a clear line in the map of who owns what right now. And FaZe Clan, they don't care about dining, they don't care about kitchen, but they have a big emphasis on the bar gaming side and a little bit on library.
Well, they're going to want to stay in bar gaming because the bomb site's down below. So you got to hold on to that with as much gusto as you can, especially lobby. The moment that you lose control of lobby, you give up so much map control, because the floor can be opened up, the hatch can be opened up, and you can watch rotations that come from connector if you have a sledge or a buck. That's why you'll tend to see defenders rotate up library stairs if the attackers don't have blue control to get an early pick. An adrenal surge goes off. That's the second one by my count. And a grenade gets tossed out as well to signal the fact that CAG are towards the back of this bomb site. And when I say back of the bomb site, I mean big garage. They've got a Maverick to carve through the steel. That's the only hard breacher that's being brought by CAG.
That's tough.
And it isn't exactly the hard breach you want on this bomb site. You usually want something else in tandem. That's why we saw Ace get brought out by FaZe Clan a number of times.
Yeah, and it's going to show just how weak this breach is. Yeah, you get a small hole, but that's all you're going to get so far. And, well, if you're a Cyclops, you're going to start working the trench wall too, because you need somehow to get inside the bomb site that isn't the door itself, because you got 5 guns in your face, and that's not going to work in your favor. But time is ticking, and Cyclops, they're actually making a run for their money. They're going somewhere else. They've completely evacuated basement with 2 players. They're looking to try and get cheeky, but Hannington, I think he's going to go and breach the other wall to try and get an angle into the bomb site.
I mean, I'm gesturing towards my watch, and hey, hold on a second. That actually kind of looks like a spooky face. Anyway, 20 seconds left to open up that part of the garage. Sure is a decision to be made, but it actually seems like Cyclops are going to pull it off. Suzu can walk in and get that diffuser planted. Nobody is watching this angle, and there he goes. You can see the mayhem from above. Cameraman isolated inside of connector. The rest of the team just being picked apart surgically, and Cyclops are geniuses. Anneton rotating over to the garage wall. He's got the kill hole and the line of sight to take down FaZe. They get caught rotating to deal with the diffuser, and Cyclops pick up their second round on attack. They are 1 round away from match point, 2 rounds away from putting FaZe down on Chalet.
I mean, you can question that rotation all you want with 25 seconds left, but thank the Lord, they managed to open up the trench wall. That's the entry that they needed and that they used. Suzu walked in, could start planting down diffuser, and Anderson got 2 or 3 kills from that snowmobile wall. Well done! Absolutely crazy. Never really heard of before, and well, if you're the last man standing, Anderson, you're not gonna have a really bad time because you're so far off the bomb site, yet so close, but with no way in, it really wouldn't matter. But if you get that many kills off that single hole, well, that's a lot of value that you can get. Absolutely crazy from Cyclops. They're gonna stick the line this time around as well. It's really great for the execute, basically making sure the defenders, they will be standing still. But at the very least, if they start moving around, they will get spotted by that red ping. So it makes the execute a little bit easier, and of course, it'll work the same way on the roam. Once you start getting into combat with your opponent of FaZe, pop that lion scan, and you'll see what happens. It's basically like magic. I'm not sure what the science is behind it exactly, because it only works for one team, not both of them, but that's just how it is. I guess you have to detect the feel for, you know, teammate gadgets, if anything.
Oh boy. All right, well, it's a bar gaming defense now for FaZe. They've been unsuccessful on every single bomb site that they've gone to, so why not keep that carousel going? Yeah. Ride it as long as you can.
Round and round we go. We are also going to bar. That is the first time that FaZe will defend this bomb site, because they started kitchen, they went basement, and now they are on bar. The 2 Bs back to back.
We saw 1 master bedroom office defense. That was it coming from CAG. It did not work at all. So I don't know if we're going to see it pop up again. This tends to be the bomb site that teams don't go to anymore. For a period of time, they didn't like the basement. And I got to say, the meta of bomb sites for Chalet has been very entertaining. When it got reworked and basically became a whole new map, teams liked bar gaming and they liked garage down below. The rest of the bomb sites, not as strong as they wanted to be. But then all of a sudden, that basement, with its miserable win rate for defenders, pushed teams upstairs. They started going more to kitchen. They started using master bedroom more. But now master bedroom's fallen out of vogue again. It's a cycle, man. And everything that's old becomes new and vice versa. While we were talking about that, there were nades that sailed in and almost claimed the life of the Wamai of Bullet, but he stands tall, not to be shaken away. Those are 2 sets of nades that were out from Anneton. Now it's Gadarada's turn to dump in those nades. Still trying to find the same Wamai, but nothing is connecting. Burning an Adrenal Surge and an EE1D, and all that's happened is Bullet has gotten back to the site, baiting in CAG. Souls with the first kill, Cyber traded off. It's tied at 4v4. Half of the round still to play, as it's just absolute mayhem between these teams. And it's in gun down, as it's Astro to get that kill. CAG have control of library above. And start smashing through the floors. Nitro Cell goes off, it does not connect.
And to start question, is it time to slow down now, CAG? You've had real full speed on this round throughout the last 2 minutes, and now, yeah, it is indeed time. You had the 4v4, now it's 4v3 instead. You're gonna play this with one gun less, but you still have the sledge. Vertical play can start happening on the side, and if you can find the pick with that, that'll really, really swing the numbers in your favor. Souls is down below. Oh, actually, we see Astro on the flank. Very nicely done, Mr. Observer. Thank you for that. But I think it's read out by CAG because Gatorada is coming for the swing. They know he's somewhere in this area, but not quite exactly where. With 30 seconds left to go, I'm not sure if it's worth challenging. Gotta start making your way down those staircases, or because you cannot drop the hatch. It's reinforced, it is closed. You don't have many options.
And that's a kill to start off this execute. Gamerman takes down Gatorada, but he's not long for this earth as Suzu's there to do some significant damage. They've got him down, but they can't secure. All of a sudden, it's Astro now tearing through the top floor, getting back to the bomb site in a hurry. But CAG have control. Careman can't give any calls from above. Astro not seeing it, and they're stopped in their tracks. CAG making teams that they've been on in the past. Every single player of this squad, except for maybe Souls, has been in the LATAM scene at the top level for almost, if not longer, than half a decade. That is an incredible amount of time to go through team after team, roster after roster, and to be able to play at that level, that consistency is unheard of. Now, of course, I'm assuming they drink from whatever well of life that Nesk also drinks from, because coming into today, Nesk had almost every single category in his name because of how dominant his performance has been. But getting back to FaZe Clan, a lot of these players on teams that they've had in the past, whether it be MIBR, whether it be Team Liquid, whether it be here on FaZe Clan, they have had issues letting their mental attitude sink them rather than their gameplay. So being able to pump up your team and keep them mentally in it is actually huge.
This is very interesting from Astro. He's actually ran all the way to car garage, reinforced all 4 walls, and put a kite claw on the wall as well, just for one of those panels. Second one goes to side. They've opened up the wall from the bomb site to the car garage itself, so they're extending out. But I don't think I've seen this in competitive play before at this level at least. And this, of course, counters directly what Cyclops did before, because they took car garage, they made their way up, and now you see the main wall is open, rotate into trench, nade now coming out. And it's when you, I mean, you could just use your gadget and torch open the wall, but I guess a nade does the trick as well. But
yeah,
you have the ace this time, but ace is on across the map. He's nowhere near the bomb site.
I'm not exactly sure what the thought process behind that was. I mean, unless you want the ace to get over there eventually, or maybe try to bait out another Electroclaw, but by your count, you know that it's over by that big car garage, as you said.
He started mavericking the wall regardless, so then it could have been to try and flush out a player, do some damage, maybe clear some utility. I'm not entirely sure. Nice wall bang.
Oh!
Really nice wall bang. Doesn't kill the player who's intending to kill off Anderson the Maverick, but he finds Sophia, and I think he'll be happy with just getting one of those two.
That's a rough one. The Zofia was there to watch, as you need some level of coverage. The thing is that you don't really have any operators that now can use a gadget to open up that wall, except for the Flores. So the Rotero drone will have to go over in that direction. I like the way that FaZe has changed this up. They are still focusing very heavily on that big car garage. That's where the emphasis is. 2 players stacked up, both Bullet and Astro, but Astro gets taken out by a nade. A follow-up could also come onto Bullet, but instead of engaging, he's peeled off. That's a wise move to do. Get away with your life intact. Realize that there is still a minute and a half of this round to go.
Yeah, and they've actually reinforced off the trench wall now, limiting the angles of Cyclops. Basically saying, we gave up car garage, now when you take it, you get less value. Sure, the main wall is still soft, it's still open. Gatorada, that's the wall he's staring at, but trench is reinforced off. That means Suzu or Anderson has to come into play on that trench side to now open back up the wall that used to be soft. That's exactly what Suzu will do. That's going to give you the entry in as they did the previous time around. But what do you have? 1 grenade to your name and 3 flashbangs. You'll have to use it well, have to use it wisely, because it's all you got.
Souls peeks the wrong way, and Suzu says, fine, I'll take that kill. It's not going to be all that hard. Anderton drop from cameraman from above. The alibi still there, and now the stairway down from lobby to garage is where he'll go. Diffuser in hand for Suzu. Team sitting at a 3v3, and there's some hesitation, as I don't think they have intel as to where FaZe is. Gatorado rushes in. He thinks one's in blue, dragging away so many bullets. Suzu left to die now by Bullet, as it's Bullet to pick up 2 inside with the final one. Poorly played by CAG. They could have just got the plant down and covered. Why are some teams so allergic to planting the diffuser when they have lots of map control and they know it? Suzu could have easily gotten that diffuser down while somebody stood at that trench wall and just surveyed whatever happened from FaZe Clan. The timeout works, though it was a bit of a tenuous hold for a while there for FaZe Clan. Cyclops still sit on match point, but FaZe have somewhat narrowed this gap. 2 more rounds for FaZe Clan to push to overtime. That's the only way the Brazilian team is taking map 1.
Extremely odd that CAG wouldn't plant there. I fully agree. Suzu could have walked in. You had 2 players nearby to cover the plant. There was no C4, no toxic babes, no smoke on the board of FaZe Clan. It seemed extremely simple, then perhaps over-engineered, over-complicated from CAG. And we saw some 6-pick players, decisions being made. The Monty, the Osa, ended up being the Osa. This is Shield, but a different one at that. And this is a CAG special. They played it against Liquid on Bank, they played it against SSG on Chalet, and they're bringing out the same operator now against FaZe on Chalet as well. It's kind of interesting how Osa works as an operator, because the value you gain from her is really 50-50, right? Sometimes the value is great, sometimes the value isn't as much. And when you look at the side of FaZe, they have 1, 2 C4s, but no impact. So you could argue that odds are kind of in your favor. Impacts is the most direct counter to the gadget. C4s, yeah, they are still explosive. They still do the damage, but they don't toss as far as of range, which means those shields are going to stay a little bit more safe. Cyber, looking for a cam, doesn't find any.
The thing that a lot of Mozzies don't realize is that if a pre-placed drone is there, shoot a pest at it. You've now got yourself a free drone. Yoink!
Yoink! It's very true. You can drive it around and be like, oh, I'm not an attacker, but on defense, wee, trying to score. It's kind of like a yokai. You know, you can drone your teammates around, figure out, are they flanking, are they not, where they're planting, etc. But it kind of sucks having to sit on defense on a cam, because then you're not aware of your surroundings. That kind of means Mozzie is a roamer, but to use the gadget, you kind of need to come back to side to then safely use the gadget. And yeah, that's not always fun, because you want to get active on the map, and that's exactly what FaZe are doing. CAG has to respond on this library balcony. We've seen this many times, many teams trying to pick it apart, but FaZe themselves are not inside library. They're just going to be playing on that chimney area. Meanwhile, with Terror Drone on the bomb side, almost takes out cameraman.
It pushes him off of the spot, though, and I don't know if they were pushing him into an area where they thought they might be able to do something with it. Grenades go into library while cameraman had peeled off, as you talked about. Now library has nobody from FaZe in it. Instead, they've moved over towards piano, where they play side by side. And I also believe Cyber managed to get a drone. I don't know if it was successful, but the pest definitely went down. That Osa shield looking to be applied onto the window overlooking the lobby stairs into the basement. Astro's the only one who's had any damage done to him. Halfway point in this round. The bomb site is kitchen. Still match point for Cyclops. They want to be able to put this one away without going to overtime. CAG have struggled to do that. They've made some winnable maps very close. It's been their major Achilles heel throughout this tournament. I don't know if they'll be able to do all that much to FaZe to change that, but all they need to do is win one of the final 3 rounds. They've already dropped one of those, so 2 more rounds. That's the math that we're looking at.
Yeah, having a hard time closing out rounds has kind of been the name of the game for a lot of teams here, and with a minute left, it's going to come down to the last couple of seconds. Now, Suzu has brought out the thermite. That's going to bode very well, but we spoke about Mozzie earlier and catching drone for intel, and look at this drone inside a fireplace.
That is a huge drone.
Absolute ginormous value. 1 smoke being used with both Suzu on thermite and Aniton on Osa brought 1 each. That means they have 4 total and 2 left to go. You got a nade over this wall, clear out the jammer, then breach the wall, and then you can start progression through the side. But every single member of CAG is inside a fireplace, with the exception of Black Ray holding the flank up above.
Both smokes from Suzu have been used, and it's going to stop someone from pushing towards Library Stairs. Still one in the hands of Anaton. That's the Osa to toss it out, moving that second shield now closer to the breach. With the diffuser in hand, they're baiting FaZe in quite well. The drone is not particularly strong, but look at Astro. This is a rat position for him. They've discovered him, and now the last CAG members above are hunting down the Mozzie. Could it be a flawless round to give CAG map number 1? And APAC supremacy sure is on the menu today.
Isn't it just extremely amazing how Osa becomes the star operator of that final round? You walk around with the shield in front of your face, you're baiting out the members of FaZe. They found 2 picks off of that